Pisces, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late February 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Piscean people. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for Pisces, gang? In Pisces season, might I add, it's birthday season. Let's get it going here. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Pisces. What is the vibe? What is the energy? And while we get this first card out, I just want to once again wish you all a very happy birthday from me to you. Whether your birthday's already passed, whether it's still coming up, I hope you have a fantastic one, my friends. Happy, safe, prosperous birthday. Okay. So the Little Mermaid's here, beautiful. That's definitely Pisces vibes if I've ever seen it myself. And I was just saying, she showed up in one of the Earth sign readings, and I haven't seen her in quite a while. So it's interesting that she's kind of re-emerging here, especially this week. But I love that. It's a beautiful future-focused type of energy. I mean, it does have the little imaginative aspects too. But before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards then, so you might want to check that out. Also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, into the reading. Let's talk more about this Little Mermaid. So I'm sure you've all seen the movie a couple dozen times, right? Even if you haven't, we see the mermaid here. She's surrounded by this beautiful underwater seascape, and she does have her head above the surface in the clouds. Now, in one sense, this card does represent looking towards the future, even if you're in a pretty comfortable place. I mean, some of you might be. Like, if you're in a pretty comfortable or good place, this card says, all right, well, maybe plan for the future a little bit. And listen, as a Pisces rising myself, I know we are the definition of go with the flow. This card could ask us to maybe plan certain things out a little better whenever it's in the mix. It's about thinking what you want for yourself in the future. Like, even if you're in a good place, there's more you can achieve, and that's a lovely thing. But another aspect to this card with her head in the clouds is the daydreaming, the overthinking. Listen, everyone knows Pisces has a very vivid imagination. I always say 1 foot in the etheric realm, 1 foot in the material, and that's kind of what this card is showing us here. So I would say use those. I give this advice every Pisces reading. Use that beautiful imagination to create and express yourself. If not, you might just be in La La Land a little more so than normal. You might be daydreaming or fantasizing about things. Nothing wrong with that. Let's put her down over there. I feel like it's good for the future focus though. So let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say this first card doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for Pisces, gang. What do we got in late February, please? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. It was titled A Surprising Return. So even for the next couple weeks, keep your eyes peeled because there could be various things popping back up. And I've been seeing it for other signs too. It's been heightened across the whole zodiac in recent weeks. So just watch out for situations, things, people, various things that could just pop up out of nowhere. That was a big vibe. So we're going to see what shows up for you this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else's, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Pisces. What's happening in birthday season for my good friends? Thank you. All right. Knight of Pentacles. I'm skeptical about it. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It is a complementary energy for Pisces, so we're just going to have to see how this plays. Normally, I like a faster action card in the front, but I mean, it doesn't have to be bad. Let's get a couple more. Thank you. Queen of Swords. Lots of people for some reason. You know, the main part of my spread is 3 cards, so when 2 of the 3 cards are already court cards, these are a lot of different energies. What do we have? Thank you. 2 of Wands. Interesting. There's a lot of strategy here, Pisces. So just like that card we were talking about in the very beginning, we're seeing it here 2 more times in the main part of the spread. So there's definitely something in the works, or should be. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, I like that the elements are mixed, right? Like, I always look at the elements first because that informs us how the energy is flowing. We have earth, we have air, we have fire. These two could be a little combustible and explosive on the back end. This one is pretty grounded in the front. So whether these are different situations, different aspects of the same thing, we're just going to have to see. Now, if it was all fire or all air or all water, then I'd be a little more concerned because that's a little too disproportionate, if that makes sense. But yeah, we also have the two court cards, we have the two of wands, so it's like we have number signs, we have repeating themes already. So this is going to be an intriguing one, I'm sure. But these two cards definitely link in heavy with some sort of strategy or plan, whether it's you or somebody else. But let's go through piece by piece and really start to build this out. So position number one, we're starting with the Knight of Pentacles. Now in tarot, knights are messengers, right? You see him, he's delivering that pentacle. They also represent action. So all knights move at a different rate of speed. Unfortunately, this is the slowest one. Now, in the positive sense, if you're not connected to an earth sign, because remember, if you're connected to Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, this could just represent them. But if not, this is very, very slow. It's the slowest of the knights. So it could be something that's just either predictable in a good way. So it could be something where it's like reliable, it's there, it says what it's going to do, and it follows through with it. That could be the good aspect of this card. But the challenge with the Knight of Pentacles, it could just be too damn slow. It could be boring sometimes. It could represent problems. It could feel stuck in a rut. So hopefully that's not something you're feeling in this time. We'll clarify it and see, because again, it could just be a conversation of some sort. So we'll see what's up with him. But it doesn't always have to be stuck in the muck. I find it peculiar that we're starting off with that. Now, for some of you, maybe something's going to happen where it's like, I knew it. I knew it. I don't know why I get this predictability already. But moving into the center, we have the Queen of Swords. So air sign, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and queens represent the internal aspects of their suit. So when we look at swords, that's the mind, that's the logical mind. It could also be communication. So notice we have two very strong communication cards. We have two strong cards of other people. So I've been picking this up in the other water signs. It's like outside circumstances could be affecting you more so than you think, where it's like other people are bringing stuff to you. So watch out for stuff like that. Now, the Queen of Swords is extremely intelligent. It's straightforward, no BS, no nonsense, no games. So when I see her, like if there's anyone you're connected to that's kind of messing around or kind of playing games, you're not going to be about it. With this card, it's like, no, I'm not messing around. It's very, very serious. So you could be stepping in to this Queen of Swords energy. And remember, it's not gender specific. She is also hugely strategic. So this could be you needing to plan something like we saw with Ariel, or somebody you're connected to could be planning something when she's here. Now, challenge with the Queen of Swords. And yeah, sometimes she could be cutting certain things away, cutting certain things out. So now would be a good time to end certain habits or anything that's not serving your higher purpose. But when I see the Queen of Swords, her challenge could be sometimes she's a little too mean. Sometimes she's a little too cold. So for some of you, maybe there's a person you're dealing with where they might just seem like they have an ice box where their heart used to be. Now, moving to the back end, we have the Two of Wands. And it's not bad. All twos could represent partnerships, so it's interesting. We have two people. Now, the Two of Wands, it could represent decisions, choices, being at a crossroads. So a lot of Pisces, you might be at a make or break point in regards to something. But even if that's not the case, this Two of Wands to me, aside from distance and travel, because it could represent distance and travel, the Two of Wands to me is a huge card of planning the journey ahead. So similar to this Queen of Swords. So there is a lot of, I'm not going to say it's scheming, but to me it just feels like either there's planning necessary for what it is you're trying to accomplish, or someone's planning something. Right, so we're going to definitely have to dig into this a lot further, especially since it's showing up as quite a big theme. With all these different people, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of strategy. So there seems to be a lot of stuff happening here, Pisces. So I want to dive deeper on all of it. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for Pisces, gang. Let's see what's happening. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. What's going on, Mr. Knight of Pentacles? Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Pisces, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Knight of Pentacles. What's he doing here? What is the Knight of Pentacles doing in the mix? Thank you. Oh, okay. I mean, I feel like this is okay. For the most part, it just, listen, I'm telling you, there's something here that feels a little boring to me, Pisces. Okay, and I'm not sure if you're bored or someone you're connected to feels a little bit bored. Like, it doesn't feel like reactive, if that makes sense. Now, listen, that could be a good thing, right? Like, it's good to have certain people in our lives where it's like they're very reactive to things, they're very attentive. When I see the Seven of Wands with the Knight of Pentacles, it's like, all right, hello, where's your reaction here? What are you doing? What's going on? It's somebody that, I mean, maybe that's something you're doing too, right? Maybe there's a situation or person or something where it's like, I'm just not going to respond to it. I'm not going to feed any energy into it. It's just giving me that vibe, my friends, which is super funny. Now, the Seven of Wands is usually determined, it's fighting, it's me against the world type of energy. So when it's underneath the Knight of Pentacles, it could indicate a good result for you, where it's like, okay, it might take some time. So if you are dealing with certain things, it's like, all right, well, it might take some time to figure it out, or it might take some time for this to settle down, but you'll get the result you want in due time. But to me, there's just something here about someone being non-reactionary. So I'm not sure if that's you or somebody else. Like, it feels a little boring, it feels a little dull. It's like, all right, where's the oomph? Where's the zest? It's like giving me that kind of energy. So we're just going to leave it at that. I mean, worst case scenario, I'm not going to read too many more messages in, but with the Knight of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, it could be someone like trying to pick a fight too. So watch out for, now that makes sense. Watch out for someone trying to get a reaction out of you, because with the non-reactionary energy, it makes sense. Makes sense. Let's go in on the Queen of Swords. Let's see what she has to say. Yeah, there could be someone that's like trying to get a certain reaction. Okay. And I don't really feel you feeding into stuff like that. I really don't. And I feel like for a lot of you, you would see it and feel it a mile away. I have the Page of Swords in reverse underneath the Queen of Swords. It's like, no, I'm not paying attention. I'm not watching. I'm not looking. You could do and say whatever you want. I'm not messing around. And again, with the Queen of Swords, Page of Swords in reverse, it's like, I'm not playing games. I'm not playing games. I'm not beat for games. It's very much a game over type of mentality. So for a lot of Pisces, just know if there's certain things you've been dealing with for a while now, you're probably not going to have the patience you normally do. All right. Everyone knows Pisces can be very empathetic, loving, caring, and patient. In this time, your patience might be thin ice, if that makes sense. Because when I see the Queen of Swords, Page of Swords in reverse, it's like, I'm not paying attention to that. I'm not paying attention to you. I'm not messing around. I'm not playing games. Like, if you're playing games, game over. That's just how it feels. And I think it's very simple. And even with the strategy and planning, it's like, all right, well, I'll plan for something else. I'll make alternate plans. Like, it's giving me such specific messages. So again, if this isn't hitting for you, you could check your other alignments, because I feel like a lot of these messages are hyper specific this week. But let's go in on the Two of Wands. We'll see what that has. Then we'll do a quick little recap before we get into the shadow card. So what is happening? What are you ignoring? What are you just trying to keep out of your mind? That's so peculiar. Let's see what the Two of Wands has. Why is it here? Okay. All right. So we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This can most definitely represent somebody being cautious. And I do get that, the fact that somebody is doing some strategy, doing some planning still. It's like somebody saying like, all right, it's like I'm walking in a minefield. It's like, I want to avoid this, I want to avoid that. It's very cautious, very careful in how it's moving, if that makes sense. Now, the Page of Pentacles in reverse is also someone that's not going to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. So that's another vibe I'm picking up here, whether it's someone taking unexpected action or they're planning something a little quiet behind the scenes. It could be very surprising. That's the vibe I'm picking up, because with the Two of Wands, the strategy, and the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, it's like, well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you how I'm moving. I'm getting some very specific messages this week for you. And I think that's really the bulk of it right here on the back end. So there could be various things that you're either not feeding your energy to, not giving clues about certain things. Like, there's a big sense of mystery going on here as well. But the planning, it's just so peculiar how it's all working out. There might be some game playing. That's another thing I'm picking up. And I'm not saying it's coming from you, but there might be someone that's like, they're treating something like it's a game. Like, it's a strategy. So let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. There's a lot of cards of communication here. It's like all this potential communication, but not a lot being said. But position number one, we have the Knight of Pentacles with the Seven of Wands. And to me, it did feel non-reactionary. So whether it's someone that's trying to get a reaction out of you, watch out for stuff like that. And this time there could be someone like poking at you, trying to get a reaction. Either that or it's just something that's very boring to you. It's like, hello, hello. It's like giving me that kind of vibe for some reason. But moving to the middle, we have the Queen of Swords with the Page of Swords in reverse. There could be something you're purposely not paying attention to, purposely ignoring, and there is no patience for any games or BS. So it's like, okay, well, if you're doing that and acting like that just to get a reaction out of me, I'm not messing around. I'm not playing any games. I'm not feeding into it. Moving to the back end, we have the Two of Wands with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Now, I still get this energy of somebody planning, being very particular, being very cautious. And then I also get the vibe of like an unexpected or surprising action where someone's like, I'm not going to tell you what my next move is. So we have this odd energy of like people trying to get reactions out of others. So watch out for that. It does feel a little bit funky this week, but please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, let's keep it moving here. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, what is happening in the shadows for Pisces gang? In their birthday season. Thank you. Nine of Swords. It's a very popular card this week, so it doesn't surprise me that it's showing up in the shadows for a Pisces reading. The Nine of Swords is a card that is a shadow card quite a bit, and it's a card of nervousness, anxiety. It's very wound tight, and I just want to say the fact that I've been seeing this so often in other zodiac signs, if you are feeling a little more on edge, if you are feeling really tense, you could just be feeling that from outside sources, other people, like just feeling it in the air, if that makes sense. That's a big thing. Now, the Nine of Swords can represent sleep and rest. So if you've been having any issues sleeping, you might want to tighten that up. This is one of the cards I also link to the paranormal. That's why I already mentioned like the sensitivity to energies and stuff like that. Everyone knows Pisces is a highly psychic sign, but just know if you're sensitive to unseen energies, that could be heightened in this time as well. So it's like we have all this stuff happening. The energy is like very specific, very peculiar. Now, aside from this, I mean, worst case scenario, the shadow side of the Nine of Swords could represent obsessive tendencies, overthinking things. So try to stay away from that if possible. But looking at the stuff we had showing up this week, I don't really think you're in the mode and mindset to be acting this way, honestly. And so if you are acting this way, you're probably going to come out of it, and this could most definitely be someone else. So we're going to put the Nine of Swords down right there, Pisces. That's what I have for you this week, my beautiful friends. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The February subscriber surprise. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can check out the availability and my digital calendar on my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could get a little forecast for the next few weeks for you. But for the February subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of one of my favorite decks, the Tarot of the Owls. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, if you could snap your fingers right now and wish for something, what would it be? It could be anything except more wishes. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll talk to you soon.